All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. November 3rd, 2020. Bedhead, bedbeard, I don't care. Let's get going with our Pillars of Eternity 2 stream. Got my coffee. Had one of those evil sugary Pop-Tarts, which was delicious and not diet approved. All right, we need to continue here in Neketaka. Make sure I got all sound on. I believe right now we're in the middle of solving this dispute between families. Between the Valera family and the Bardato family. Azali Bardato asked me to seek out information regarding a Valera plot against her. She suggests I start with Zili, an easygoing member of the Valera family. He usually places loot around one of the local watchtowers. Well, there's either this watchtower or this watchtower. I only see these two.
Got it.
It is not as easy as it seems to turn a profit in Neketaka, but there is opportunity.
I don't see any around that one. Let's check this one. Oh, that coffee's nice and hot. It's cold this morning where we live. Yep, there he is.
Yeah.
The young man appears either to be composing or practicing a tune on his lute. He stops mid-strum, looking up at you with a friendly expression.
Apologies, Lord, if I intrude upon your peace. Inspiration eludes me still. If you are after some scenery, I suggest the far end of the bridge. It smells better when the wind blows in from the sea, of course.
I had some questions.
Oh, sure. What about?
Your family's been having some trouble with the Bardettos, right?
Guess that means you've spent at least an hour or two in town.
Zilly sighs. Question him. You've never sought revenge?
Not like Martino does, no. My uncle works hard to prove we're not thieves or murderers. I fear that Persa's going to ruin that for us. She's in the thick of something too big for her.
Persa?
I caught cousin Persa running her mouth off about the job Belder got her involved in. Persa's been spending time in the gullet, in the tavern down there. Maybe she could tell you more.
The slums of Neketaka.
Sorry. I guess you got a mouthful, huh? I really ought to get back to my loot.
Any other clues you can give me?
Just don't hurt Persa, okay?
Okay, so he's not going to give me any more. So, road, I might as well go to this one because we're the closest to it. Head to the gullet, which is the slums of Neketaka. Oh, there's quite a few places to explore here. We need to take the road east, it looks like, if we want to get over to the gullet. I forgot all about speed mode when you're just running across town like this. I would not be using it except I've already explored this entire section.
You must gather.
Okay, going to the gullet. It will take you 1 hour, 3 minutes to complete your journey from the Queen's Birth to the gullet. A Principe group notices you walking and approaches you in the street. I wonder what they want.
Was finally washed into port.
Seraphin stomps as the other pirates approach, his fists balled. The heat of his anger flushes your skin, then seeps beneath, simmering your thoughts.
Hold up, Cap. That be Malnage, the High Queen Sea Devil of the Deadfire herself, awaiting us like a shark in hate.
Be ready for anything.
Always, Cap.
His hand hovers near the handle of his weapon. A flash of ice-cold loathing cuts through the heart of Seraphin's anger, threatening to wash you over. Let the visions come. Aching shoulders, aching wrists, aching ankles, bound and gagged, the filthy rag in your mouth soaked through and briny, every breath like drowning, hanging from the bowsprit, the rise and fall of swells, the sea spray a chilling shock, Malna shouting from the bulwark. Ignore it, she says, ignore it, and focus, you useless sack of spider shit. Reality rushes back in like an approaching wave. Where did I get focuses?
Captain, I've heard a mess and a half about you. Mostly good. Though I see your taste in company could use some refining.
She gestures to Seraphin with a smirk.
Typical Malnage. Can't match my skill, so you try to spew shit.
Boy, when you're as old as me, your skill will still be naught more than the untrained fumbling of an adherent maid to the refined workings of my mind.
The sailors backing her chuckle. Alright, when you insult Seraphin, you insult me.
Apologies, Captain. Didn't realize you'd married your honor to this scallywags. You boy him, believe you me. I've heard about your run-ins with Captains Benweth and Ferrante. Meeting the old Principe seems like. Almost makes a girl green. The envy of missing the party.
She grins, her mouth filled with sharp yellow teeth.
I'm tracking a man by the name of Rimaro. Traitor to the cause.
Romero ain't no traitor, you mind-blind sack of squid squirts.
Seraphin growls, fists tight and fur bristling. You feel the anger coil around him and spill outward, and your vision begins to swim. Let the visions come. A sharp strike against your cheek, and your head hits hard wood, the wet of something rolling down the back of your scalp, clumping in your fur, and Malnage standing over you, fists balled, a flash like thunder and copper in your mouth, and an old man, eyes equal parts kindness and rage, hauling her back, shouting her down, turning to you, leaning in, the rage fleeing. The anger slides past and your vision resolves into the Neketaka street.
Captain, there'll be a bounty of some 4,000 pounds on Rimaro, quick or dead. I'd be willing to cut you 1/10 of that, here and now, if you give me any knowledge you might have stumbled across on your travels.
Kindly fuck off. Malnage blinks and Seraphin chuckles quietly. The pirate's lips twist into a smirk, but her eyes narrow.
Careful, Watcher. You don't want to go making yourself an enemy of the Principe Sen Petrena. Anyone aids our enemies shares their fate, you know?
She draws a finger across her throat.
Fare thee well, Captain. See you around, Seraphin.
She turns on her heels and leads her crew away. Yeah, I'm not dealing with threats, honey. Sorry. Onward to the gullet. You leave the bustle of the crowds behind, making your way along the winding path into the gullet. For a time, the path ascends the mountain. Even so, cramped walls and run-down Huana buildings close in around you, obscuring your view. You come to a dark passage cutting through the mountain, just wide enough to accommodate a wagon. The path here descends steadily into the rock face. After a lengthy journey through a dimly lit tunnel, you come to the gates of the gullet. The stench hits you first, a foul mixture of rot, stale air, and bodily odors. You notice a guardsman pushing a cart heaped high with moldering food, which must account for at least some of the smell. Ahead, the homes of the gullet emerge as a collection of lights amid the darkness. You hear the rush of water below, and a frigid breeze wafts up from the unseen depths like an exhalation. Alright, we have arrived in the gullet.
Traveler, any food? Surely you've a scrap to spare.
Surely I do. A gaunt Roparum woman grabs for your leg. She paws at you with a weak grip, fingers bone-thin and trembling.
Mercy, traveler. Never have I been so hungry.
Do you have no access to food?
Always there is prize share. The pile has grown leaner these years.
What is prize share? Prize share is a Juana term referring to the distribution of wealth.
Little falls to our pile that is not rotten or sour from this week and maybe before.
What do you mean? She shakes her head.
Forgive me, I say too much. If you would know more, ask Anoi. Our elder listens to those in need, and he speaks. Out of earshot of the guards. He's there. In the house to the right when you cross the bridge. He can speak of the hunger.
Her quavering arms point to the southeast. The Raparo touches two gaunt, knuckled fingers to her lips. Give her some food. The woman snatches the food from your hands with surprising speed, eyes darting a glance for any onlookers before she shoves it between her teeth. She gnaws desperately, swallows, chokes, chews again, and speaks with a mouth half full from the next bite.
Thank you. I'll share it, I swear. Thank you, traveler.
Who's the leader?
The gullet is a lawless place. Forgotten. The only authority here is the Matarus, and they don't work on our behalf. But if it is a wise man you want, seek Anoi in his home. He tries to keep us safe and fed. He does not always succeed, but he does try. Trying's worth a lot down here.
Alright, it sounds like they've got some very difficult problems here. Half-eaten food scraps litter the pile. A rancid stench rises from it.
Sure.
Sweet incense masks the odor of the offerings, rotten fruit and spoiled fish. Alright, I don't want to go in that just quite yet. Let's go across here and talk to Inoi, I think was his name. A damp, musky draft billows
They
up from the
took him.
chasm.
For what? Bataro's the second this month.
And they say the pittings aren't increasing. Do they lie to themselves or just to us? At this rate, who'll be left to suffer the Mataru's ire?
Okay.
I hear.
An elderly Roparu man squints in your direction before blinking profusely. He hobbles closer, bare feet slapping the splintered floorboards of his abode.
What say you, boy?
He peers steadily into your face, blinking faster all the while. The man's arms are thin as sticks. What teeth he has are yellowed or black from years of malnourishment. Can you see me? How do you know who I am?
I see much and many things. I simply do not look with these eyes in the same manner that others do. I have heard much as well. Footsteps like distant thunder. The wind whispers of a watcher who chases Eothas. I also hear the Raparu's heartbeat, grown thready and pained. Now a watcher comes to the gullet, as Amira has shown me you would.
Amira is one of the most important deities of the traditional Huana pantheon, a bird goddess who hatched the world from an egg. The Huana often worship her as Hylia. This place is a bit like an open wound. Couldn't hurt to help clean it up. He grimaces, baring jagged, gray-cast teeth.
The Raparu are being crushed from the top. We starve so slowly. It is an agony.
No one deserves to suffer. Not like this.
Seraphim strokes his braided beard beneath a quiet smirk. The old man shrugs.
This is the Huana way. The fish of our nets are drawn for the tribe. The fruit of our fields, too, is reaped for the tribe. And the coin of our pockets belongs not to one, but to all. All spoils are gifted to the whole of the tribe. The tribe then partakes from the top down, from the most deserving to the least.
So why are the Roparu the least deserving?
The Mataru risk their lives to protect the tribe. The Kwaru provided skilled goods and services. The tribe takes care of the Raparu more than we contribute to the tribe. Or it did, before our numbers swelled too large. The Dawn Stars would feed us, but the guards forbid them to pervert the order of sharing. There was a man who helped us, a soft-hearted pirate named Ulug. He worked with the Principe captain, Mad Morena, they call her, to bring us food from the black market. But for days now, we've had nothing.
What happened?
Ulug was never late with his shipments. Always very conscientious. A good boy. For him to disappear for several days without word, he must be dead. The Queen refuses to increase our share of the prize share. Without Ulug's shipments, we will surely starve. I am asking you, what else can we do?
There's multiple options here. I don't know which one's the right one. Somewhere beneath the gullet is a loose confederation of thugs, thieves, black marketers, and other seedy individuals. Known as Delver's Row, it's a place where most things can be found for the right price, and word always travels quickly. How about you need an advocate? I'll speak with the royals at Serpent's Crown on your behalf.
Perhaps you can achieve what those of my caste cannot. Gain us favor with the crown, and always we Roparu will be indebted to you.
How else can we solve the food shortage?
If we cannot convince the Mataru nor the Principi, I believe the Dawn Stars may help us. Peatly is a child of the Dawn Stars, and has become the Gullet's most cherished healer. I believe she would willingly hear your request for charity. Speak, and I will listen.
I'm looking for a place called Delver's Row.
You mean the black market that lies nestled in the depths of the Narrows? The guards do their best to stomp it out, but they are a single boot against 1,000 ants.
Ah, them pox-riddled arbor hogs would be better served taking towels to the sea, for all the drying they'd give it.
The old man nods.
I do not know how to get there, but someone at the tavern might.
Okay.
I've lived for many years in this gullet. My skin and bones have withered with each year, twisted harder, so that the Raparu now call me Paki Takiri.
The Pakitakiri is a role within Huana tribes for the purpose of resolving civil disputes. Rather than taking on the duties of leadership as a chieftain would, the Pakitakiri offers wisdom and guidance to the tribe, acting as an advisor and negotiator as needed.
Though you can see, I am not very big or much sturdy. If a dispute arises within the gullet, I will see it resolved. That I can promise you.
Alright, farewell. I know, tell me about the gullet. What's the history of this place?
Both time and tragedy have rotted the gullet into a place of filth and crowdedness. Once, we Raparu lived in a fine neck of the city. That time has fallen, and with it, the ruins of our old city under Neketaka. Long before the foreigners swarmed us, a sea quake rumbled our city, and the mountain cratered down. Many cried to Andra, and were swallowed for their efforts.
His dead eyes flick side to side.
Now the Mataru send us into the ruins of the old city to be punished. Within that pit lies darkness and death. Not silence, but an end.
Okay. Well, we came here first and foremost to go to the tavern. We're seeking to resolve the family disputes, but we're finding a whole lot of other things going on down here that we're going to need to resolve. Beneath the dirt and mildew, these carvings look finely detailed and very old.
How did you hear that about the boss?
With my own ears. Dario said there's treasures in that pit.
Shh! Have you lost your wits?
An Orlin covered toe to ear tip in sable fur leans against the bar, counting change. She gives you a wide, easy smile when she notices your approach, then slips the coins in her pocket with a wink.
Hey, fresh face. Welcome to the hole. Just got 2 rules, yeah? Keep your hands to yourself, and don't fall in. Need something?
What's the story of this place?
The hole's been here so long as there's been a gullet. Though it ain't always been mine. What's the neighborhood without a place to get pissed drunk and lose your pants?
How'd you end up here?
Well, it's a bit of a story. See, I was born here. Right here, fresh face. Right on this counter. And I'll die here too, God's willing. Of course.
She spreads her furred hands wide, inviting you to continue with your questions. I'm looking for a way into Delver's Row.
What? You want to lose your life on the pointy end of some brute's sword? If you're dead set on dying, you'll find Delver's Row in the Narrows. Those twisty alleys carved into the mountain on the west side of the gullet. You've got to make your own way from there. Dario will skin me if I say any more.
We're gonna go with number 2. Discretion and compensation go hand in hand.
Then I'll be shaking yours, fresh face.
She grasps your hand with a grin, then quietly slips your coin into her pocket.
I'll tell you how to get there without getting yourself dead first.
She winks.
Take a right the first chance you get. Then keep going forward until you see a merchant stall. Look close. There's a secret hallway behind a curtain there. That's your entrance. I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but all the same, you'd best watch yourself in Delver's Row. The crooks there will kill you just as soon as cheat you out of everything you own. If Dario doesn't gut you first.
Alright, who's Dario?
You stick around the gullet long enough, you might find out.
Alright. I'd like to
What
buy
you need?
something. Know of any sailors looking for work? I need crew.
Sure, I know a few folks who need coin, and a couple of them can even hold their liquor.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I don't need anybody quite yet, but I might as well hire them. For when I've got my big ship. Who's not wearing a belt? You have a belt on. The Rotten sits ramrod straight. On the table near her are a half-empty liquor bottle and a small porcelain cup. Both smell of anise. She looks as though she's trying to blend in, but her unnatural stillness and her bright, spotless attire make her stand out like a reef fish against the rocks. Her eyes find yours.
Harami!
I am here, Seduzo Nui.
Do we expect any foreign merchants today?
Seduzo keeps her eyes on you even as she speaks to the soldier. There is only a brief pause.
We do not, Seduzo Nui.
The captain shifts uncomfortably.
Then state your business quickly. I want to avoid another surprise.
She glances around quickly as if she expects someone to jump out of another corner of the tavern. What's your business here?
Nearly done, I hope. I sold a consignment of iron and cultural coral, and will return to Rauatai with vorals, merkberries, and Andra stars.
She shifts in her chair, tugging at her conspicuously clean and bright clothes.
Are you writing that down?
She raises an eyebrow at Seraphim.
Nay, lass. were merely moved to a momentary bout of verse by the beauty on display before me.
He clears his throat and secrets the scrap of paper into a pouch. Yeah, let's hear it, Seraphim.
They're very bawdy rhymes, Cap. Not meant for prim and proper mercantile types.
He rubs the back of his head. She looks at Seraphim as though he were a particularly talkative rodent. She turns back to you.
Anyway, that's what brought me here.
She fizzes with her cup. Yeah, you seem a little nervous. Does the Deadfire company know you're trading here? She sets her glass down with a loud clatter.
The Royal Deadfire Company would frown on business in this district. But there's no harm if they don't know.
She laughs nervously.
What is your business with me?
What's your business in Neketaka?
Nearly done, I hope.
Alright, so...
I sold a consignment of iron and cultural coral.
Yeah, I thought the Rodins operated out of the Brass Citadel. She avoids meeting your gaze. Her mouth is pressed into a hard frown. So I don't think we're going to get anything else out of her.
What is your business with me?
For the moment. An armored man stands by the far wall, observing a more lightly clothed woman as she busies herself with a handful of wires. The room falls silent, and you find yourself the center of attention.
We've no intent to disturb you. Please carry on.
Bayer, I don't know this one.
She nods towards you.
We asked not to be disturbed. What are you doing here?
Aren't you one of the Bordado guards?
Well, that's the end of subtlety.
Bear readies his weapons, his features hardening in a resolute expression.
You told me you weren't followed.
Sally can't know that I was here. Bad news for our new friend.
He clenches his jaw and advances. Bear hefts his weapon to square off with you while Parasar scrambles for cover. I may want to reload that.
Stuck in a doldrums here.
Joti! They'll like it as both!
Damn it!
Still hasn't learned how to take a hit. After him!
Hey,
we had some good times.
Everybody died. That was a pretty rough fight. Be reloading that one. Alright, let's try that again.
Relax, Bayer.
Bayer? We asked not to be disturbed.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Parsa? So they mentioned you might know something of Valera plan.
Damn it, Persa! Part of our deal was that you keep your mouth shut.
Zili is family. I told him so he wouldn't try to get involved or stand in our way.
Confess now before things get ugly. The two of them exchange a look. Bear laughs mirthlessly, shaking his head.
Sally can't know that I was here. Bad news for our new friend.
Alright, well.
Where than wrong. Lavru Leon's sake.
Where than rock.
That's me too.
Need something stronger. I need some help here. There's a walloping.
I'm good and stuck.
That's me too.
Where than rock.
You better talk, Persa.
You killed him. Let me go, and I won't say a word about what happened here.
Persa's voice quavers fearfully, and she's rooted to the spot as if paralyzed.
The Bardatos sent you, right? No need to kill me over a family tiff, eh?
Relax. You're clearly not part of the... what's your part in the Bardetto job? You're clearly not muscle.
I just check for traps. Belder and her crew are the Vault Crackers, not my line of work. This job? I'm out. It never happened.
She slaps her palms in a dismissive fashion and holds them out to you.
Belder's plan was for everyone to converge on the Bardato Vault. You won't find me anywhere near the Bardato fortune. Can we agree that that's worth sparing my life?
Yeah, get out of here.
I think that would be best as well. Consider me gone.
Alright, well, we survived.
What would you call the color on that meat? Ash?
That's the cook?
Why do you bother me, little Kith?
Hey, I'm not little.
You're all little to me.
She squints, her broad sloping brow wrinkling in consternation.
Little and squishy.
You enjoy working here?
No.
She hacks a fat goblet of spit. It lands beside the food she's preparing and splatters.
The gullet reeks of illness. The beds are too small. An imp tried to nest in my hair. And Firna, the tavern keeper, refuses to give me more than 1 day off a month. How am I supposed to hunt when I am chained to this stove?
She scrunches her face into a grimace.
Maybe I'll become a pirate. Get myself a bird and an eye patch.
You could join my crew.
How do you mean?
She narrows her eyes and regards you with renewed interest. Well, always use a cook, and I admire your work.
I don't work for free.
Will this satisfy you? She examines your coins for a moment. They look tiny in her giant hands, almost like a child's playthings. She shrugs.
This will do. For now.
She pats her meat tenderizer thoughtfully and gives you a small nod. I now have a giant on my crew. Fair enough. Oh, and there's a little piggy.
Leave it to me.
I got another pet. Might as well check upstairs while we're here. A dwarf sits before a generous and curious spread. Steamed mussels arranged in concentric circles, rounds of flatbread stacked in a neat tower, and melons sliced in even triangles. Yet his attention is focused on the 4 cups and the bottle in front of him. He has the cups organized in an almost perfect square around the bottle, but as you look on, he leans down to adjust one. The others with him wait and observe the ritual. Let's wait as well. Holding his breath, he takes the bottle and measures an equal serving of wine into the cups, making 3 or 4 passes over each. His companions look on with practiced patience.
Don't see why you'd spend all that time arranging your food if you aren't making it look like a funny face.
At last the bottle is empty, and he places it in the exact center of the square. He picks it up and puts it down in the same spot twice more before he's satisfied.
Cheers.
They all take their cups and drink deeply. At last, the leader turns to you.
What do you require?
What brought you to the Deadfire?
We have a contract with the Valian Trading Company to defend one of their most valuable properties.
He glows with pride.
If you're looking for work, I hardly recommend them. They pay well, and they pay on time.
He raises his cup, and his companions do likewise. Seraphim leans nearer you, grinning.
Consistency in the shipping lanes. Good for types mercantile, but better for types piratical.
Did you say something?
Just admiring your spread, my lad. Nothing better after a meal than a ripe pair of melons.
Seraphim.
My fingers be fat and furry, but they're ever so nimble. I don't be supposing we could blow it easy breezy, wet and sleazy.
Sure. Oh, a kitty cat. Dude the Six-Toed Cat. 20 health restored per kill. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. And there's a dog. Deuce. +1 constitution of the whole party. That's also very nice. All right. A man saunters over to you with a jagged smile. He's got a long, crooked scar on his forearm, and he's rolled his sleeve up to flaunt it.
You must be new. Lucky for you, we have a special rate for newcomers. A bag of coppers in exchange for your life.
He brandishes a knife. One of his companions grins widely enough to show you all of his missing teeth. But it's a rigid smile, and the first thug's hand is shaking. You suspect they're not as tough as they let on. I'm gonna crack my knuckles. This'll be fun. The thugs look at one another and exchange a few panicked whispers.
It seems we've made a mistake. Forgive and forget, no?
He smiles, backing away. They hurry off and disappear back into the crowd. Yeah, piss off, thugs.
Please, I did nothing.
You see a man being dragged along a rickety boardwalk towards a rusty cage that swings over the abyss. He strains against the guard's grip. The guard delivers a savage backhand.
Enough! Or do you wish to consign her to the old city as well?
The warrior casts a meaningful glance at a woman standing a short distance away.
Let him go!
She screams at the guards, but she doesn't dare approach. The man notices her. His face lights up with shame.
Beer! I'm sorry!
Your tongue flops like a dying fish. I tire of its stink. Lower him down!
The guard drags the Reparo into a metal cage and locks him inside. He shouts and rattles the bars as it is lowered over the edge of the platform. Eventually, his screams are lost to the depths.
May Tangaloa devour your souls, you cold-blooded eels. Was taking baton.
A woman thrashes a row of tunics and sarongs hanging from the rafters. Her pointed teeth are gritted in frustration. Her lips set in a snarl. The clothes are spotless, yet she swings a handful of reeds again and again, grunting with each blow. Several children huddle together, whispering and looking on with red, tearful eyes.
Bataro is gone. Dead. What more do you want?
She punctuates each statement with a fierce whack of the reeds. The children flinch, looking between you and the woman. Take a deep breath and let's talk about whatever this is calmly. She looks at you for the first time. A fraction of her anger burns off.
Forgive me. I thought you were one of the foreigners who sent him away. Outsiders here always go to the tavern. My village was not like this. Why does Queen Onikaza not send the foreigners away?
How did you know the man who was lowered into the old city? One of the children starts to say something, but Biha shoots him a sharp glare. She turns back to you, arms crossed, gripping the reed bundle tightly.
Bataro is punished already, I say. Whatever offense he gave, do not hang it on our necks.
She begins swatting at the laundry again, though with considerably less gusto. I know you're scared, but I'm not here to harm you.
We say the only thing that live in these depths are ghost eels. And fish eaten by ghost eels. Which are you?
She turns away from you, striking the sarong harder and harder.
The traders say they bring riches in their big ships.
The fabric pops and snaps beneath her fury. Sweat is flying, spattering the clean sarong.
But what reaches the gullet? Only crime and sickness, I say.
So what does this have to do with Bataro?
He said we would finally leave.
What happened?
I heard a Rawatine captain took up at the tavern. Suduzo, they call her. They say she is a traitor, so I thought maybe she will take passengers. Bataro went and found her in the tavern. Next I see him, the guards are dragging into the cage.
Maybe I can talk to this Suduzo. She looks at you with the same critical eye she's been giving the laundry.
Everyone knows the Rawatines are made of brass. They listen only to their commanders. But still, maybe it goes different for you.
She looks around at the clothes, the huddled children, the warped and splaying walls of the shack around them.
Bataro took some coin. Everything he scraped together working on the docks. When he went to bargain with the captain. I would offer it to you, but it is probably in the old city with Bataro. Or in someone else's pocket.
I could look for Bataro.
I could never ask someone to go down to the old city, but since you offer, it is a big and dangerous place. But perhaps he hid himself. Perhaps, please help him if you can. Or bring me news if you cannot.
Can you take a different ship? She shakes her head.
Many ships leave from Queen's Birth, but the Valiants take slaves.
She lowers her voice and glances furtively around.
They say the Principe smuggle goods in the caverns below, but I cannot trust such people. But the Rawatines have mighty cannons, and a big homeland they abandoned for ours. Perhaps there is more room for us there.
How many of you need passage?
We are 6, 3 children, 2 babes, and me.
There was no one else from the cast to look after them.
Akira. It was so in the village, where Bataro and me came from. But here, we are all strangers. No one looks in on the sick or cares for the children.
Tell me about the captain.
Seduzo. They say she is a traitor, but she threw Bataro out. Always Bataro was careful with his words, especially as a Raparu. But a Raparu in Neketaka gives offense just by breathing the air of his betters.
Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go talk to the captain. Who we met earlier, but she didn't have any real dialogue for us. And then we obviously need to rescue...
I heard you and Isilmir again. I do wish you would stop encouraging her. Real sorry, Eothas. We'll keep it down.
Harami!
I am here.
Do we expect it?
We do not.
Then state your business quickly.
Yeah.
I want to avoid another surprise.
Do you cross paths with a man named Bataro?
The one who threatened me. I shall not soon forget him.
She raises her cup for another sip, scowling into the liquor.
These Huana learn too many pretty words from the Valians. You cannot trust what they say.
What exactly happened?
This fellow wanted passage on my ship. As if I were the village ferryman.
She tosses back the rest of her drink a little too quickly.
I told him there was none to be had. Certainly not at his price.
Then what? She refills her cup and sets the bottle down hard.
He told me he had coin. Lots of it. I did not believe him. How could a man who lives in a garbage heap have enough money for passage?
She shakes her head.
So you assumed the worst and threw him to the wolves?
No, you presumptuous Adiran. I assumed nothing until I saw the swollenet.
A swallow-net?
A marked coin. A token of allegiance. The Principi carry them. I knew then that I was dealing with a pirate. I had heard they were influential in the gullet, but I did not realize how much so. I called for the guards and they dragged him away. That is the last I saw of him.
Biha and the children still need passage out of the city.
There's nothing I can do. The passenger quarters have been reserved by a dwarf named Orin.
She picks a stray thread from her smooth, crisp jacket.
Why do you bring this to me?
Don't you feel bad about what happened to Bataro?
What did remorse ever accomplish? Besides, this Bataro brought trouble on himself.
She holds her head chin high, but you catch the telltale twitch at the corner of her mouth.
Yes. He should have known how to behave around civilized people.
You're a merchant, no?
I can take 3 more in the hold, and no more. Orin and his crew have reserved the berths. That is assuming you have the coin.
The children are small. Surely you can take more.
I will already have to abandon crates of cargo to make room for these 3. Plus, the food and water they require.
Let me think about it.
As you say.
Tell me about Orin.
He and his people are gold-packed knights. Orin is... particular. Perhaps that is good. He just finished a contract to guard the Valian Luminous Mill. I hear Animancers are also particular. He's upstairs. Just do not interrupt him if he's arranging things.
She and her crew exchange another glance.
What is your business with me?
What do you require?
I heard about passage on Captain Seduzo's ship.
Indeed. The good captain has 4 adequate berths, all equally sized, all facing the same direction. And she's promised to leave promptly. A most agreeable arrangement.
What would it take for you to cede your spots on Seduzo's ship?
Out of the question. We're due in Tekoa for another contract, and the client has already paid the advance.
He sips from his cup and immediately runs a folded handkerchief around the rim.
And we have already paid Seduzo. I couldn't possibly take back the same coins I have already spent.
He shivers with dread. I'll make you an offer.
A gold-packed knight is bound by his contract, and ours binds us to make all possible haste to Tekoa. Booking passage on another ship on such short notice would be most expensive.
Have pity. I'm helping a woman and her children seek a better life.
Look around. The Deadfire is filled with misery, to say nothing of the gullet.
Folks like you ain't helping. Have a heart. Or is it already dead in your chest?
I have oaths to keep. Perhaps that means little to you, but I am bound by them. What better life do you imagine for them in Rauatai? They will only trade one misery for another. Besides, I have a contract to fulfill.
I could pay you enough for another ship. He looks up from his fidgeting long enough to give you a doubtful crown.
All ships leaving for Rauatai are laden with luminous Adra and other rare goods. Mercenaries, even of our skill, do not rate so highly.
Think about it. Alright, so I probably need to rescue the husband
You're literally
first.
a pirate of the mind? You sail in and steal people's thoughts?
Behold, lass, I'm the original psychic piratical.
Not hardly. Even I've heard about Malnage. She's a cipher like you, ain't she? Only older.
Ugh, had to dredge up my cruel rival. You should know her arsehole itches when mention being made of her.
What a nasty hex. Tell me you weren't the one that put it on her. Darn, I hope that doesn't make her itch. Hell, or that. Now I'm just making it worse. I best shut my mouth before I cause more damage.
I like your style, kid.
I love the conversations between party members. It's quite fun. Alright, so we need to go back. Well, we're going to deal with the family stuff later. We've got... And we return with the news of the plot.
Be careful.
Alright, we're going back to the Queen's birth, and we're going to the Bardado estate. Excuse me.
My intelligence speaks of agitated whispers in the Valera household.
She sets her paperwork aside and glances your way. Yeah, I'd like to actually talk to you about that.
Have on then, and don't leave me in suspense.
I've learned from a burglar named Persa that there's a plot to break into your vault. A sickle of a smile spreads from cheek to cheek.
Now we know enough to sidestep this particular trap. Here, your deserving pay. I suggest we allow this heist to play out as intended. We will watch as our enemies walk into a trap. This will be the end of the Valera's short, ignoble reign in high society.
Just talk to Atello. It's never too late to solve this peacefully.
It most decidedly is. I have no use for a faint heart.
Alright, let's go talk to him real quick, if we can.
I supposed to play nanny?
They listen to you, Martino. Enough. We have a guest.
Ah, a new face in the Valera halls.
Renfield, at your service.
Courtly manners are welcome here. You kept Laro and Orso from the beyond. We could use such a mediator. Martino has need of muscle and brains outside of the Valera house.
I had some questions.
I will entertain your curiosity.
Fair warning, she knows that you're planning to rob her vault.
Robbery, Martino? Please, don't tell me.
Artello presses his brow and trails off, shaking his head.
It was Belda's idea. I may have encouraged her.
Martino coughs into his fist.
Shoddery, Martino. Now I have to clean up another of your messes.
Yeah, what do you want to do about it?
I prefer to keep these things in the family, the times being what they are.
I'd be willing to lend a hand.
See to it that Beld escapes. Leave no... That may stave off Azali's vengeance for a little while. Good night, Watcher.
Don't waste
We can
time
speak in
with
the
idle
morning.
questions.
I'm gonna load the game because the first time I played this game, there was a way to avoid a feud between the two families. I'm just curious if I've allowed it to pursue. I'm curious if I've allowed it to be pursued too far.
Sure.
Am I supposed to play nanny?
Ah, a new face, courtly man. You kept... Martino has need of... I will entertain your curiosity.
Having some trouble with the family next
The
door.
Bardato Bank shuts us out of investments and stifle. This is the richest prospect on Iora.
Can't make coin at the
If you know a better way of squeezing Azali's a rich thug, and someday she will get what's coming to her.
I want to talk to you about the Bardatos.
If we must.
I think your family should consider a truce.
Shoddery. Our disagreements are beyond the point of shaking hands.
This is not your feud. If anything, I question her interest.
You're a businessman. You would know if my investment was false.
You have little to gain by peace between our families, but you speak as if you might.
Tella purses his lips.
You want to help? Convince Azali to negotiate. She ignores my invitations. Until then, leave me be.
Martella turns away from you, intent on focusing anywhere else. Okay, so I might be able to... I need to convince them to meet, so let's see if I can talk to the other family now.
You're a follower of the light?
Light? Oh, you mean... well, depends on what you mean by follow.
Maybe you heard earlier? I follow Eothas too. Mostly, in a way. I mean, I am a child of the Dawn Stars, even if firstly I'm a Gonite.
That's good, I guess. For you.
Oh, maybe you don't want to talk about it. That's all right. Surely, some other time, then. Was it the way I said it? Or maybe I'm in need of a washing.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something. It's about Shodi.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something. It's about Zodi. What do you want to ask, Adair?
She means well. I can see that. And she's spirited, and if I was still young and didn't know the things I know, it'd be different. But anybody got that much faith in any god, let alone Eothas? I don't know how to talk to someone like that. Not these days. I get why she's like that. And I was there once, long time back.
His eyelids flare with relived embarrassment.
But it's 'cause of that I can't see a way to respect it. I'm no good at hiding it from her either. I don't see this getting better.
There's more to her than you're giving her credit for, or if she can't deal with the truth, that's her problem, not yours. Yeah, if she can't deal with the truth, that's her problem, not yours.
All right, I'm not gonna hide it. Won't be pretty, though.
Speak up. My business never sits still for long.
About this feud of the Valera family.
Betello doesn't make my affairs any easier with his wayward ambitions.
I've spoken to Atello. He's ready to negotiate if you're willing to meet his estate.
His brood threatens open bloodshed in the streets, and he thinks...
She stops herself, taking a breath.
Delusional little snake. Fine. But you can assure him that I won't be alone. Go on then. Let him know, before I change my mind.
When I was little, me and my brothers used to spend hours chasing each other through the Merkberry fields. Don't think a day went by I didn't have a skinned knee or a bleeding elbow.
Oh, we did that sometimes. Only my brother usually had a hand in the bleeding.
He older or younger than you? Either way, I bet he's just as strapping.
Older. Was older. Then Raid Sarah's invaded.
Oh, I mean, of course, that's gone, but I'm so sorry.
Good night, Watcher. We can speak in the morning.
We have to wait then.
Adu, what brings you to the Hall of the Valeras?
Zalia has agreed to meet and discuss terms of peace.
You really managed to convince that stubborn Pugra to show up. I'll make sure the estate is prepared to receive her.
Let's begin the negotiations.
I will send a messenger to fetch Azali. Whether she is still receptive to the idea of a truce is ultimately up to her.
Right, well I quick saved before this, so fingers crossed.
Looking prettier than when you left or so.
Merla, cut it out.
Alright, let's, before we get into this. Berdato and Valeri representatives stand arrayed around the dining table wearing expressions of anxiety and resentment. The temperature of the room suggests no more amity than when the discussion began. Alright, if we could open by defining each of your grievances and demands? Before you can finish your sentence, Otello cuts you off with a hard wave of his hand.
You run your bank like a crime syndicate. Some of us struggle to tell the difference.
Otello points an accusing finger across the table.
We can take it up with the director anytime you feel like explaining why your children are intimidating my merchants.
Azella opens her palms, in every way composed. She glances over at you and her mouth... she glances over at you and her mouth turns downward.
I see our would-be mediator has arrived. Well, we're here. I hope this wasn't some elaborate, ill-advised jest.
I would not willingly welcome a Bardato beneath my roof for the sake of a jest.
Yeah. Can we please not sabotage this from the get-go?
As long as the Valera remembers his place, we shouldn't have any problems.
My place is in the dueling ring. Care to let the gods decide, Lady Bardato?
Martino licks his lips and fingers the pommel of his rapier.
Quiet, Martino. Watcher, now would be the time to lay out your reasoning.
I've made allies of former enemies before. I think we can all pull together into a stronger force.
Ak, raise the stir in the White March Mountains. The same could be done here.
A force? Watcher? To what end?
I want to help the Huana of the city. I'd like the company to be an earnest ally. You hear more than one person laugh, including Martino. Martello, however, only looks surprised.
A noble enough goal.
He smiles thinly.
Otello, I hadn't realized you had a soft spot for the natives.
Zelle's grim expression fades for the brief duration of the slightest twitch at the corner of her mouth. You were a gold-packed knight once, weren't you, Zali?
Once you owned the castle, things change.
Enough. Your roar silences the table. Even Martino blinks at you. Can't you kiss up and make up like normal people?
Enough. Just standing here is a loss that I'll... Kill them all.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. Load game. Crazy lady.
Than when you left or so.
Cut it
Do we need to talk about why we're
You run
here?
your bank like
we can. I see our.
I would not willingly welcome a Bardato beneath my roof for the sake of a jest.
Stop this at once. You're embarrassing yourselves.
Mother, please. This bickering is beneath us.
This meeting is beneath us.
Quiet, Martino. Watcher, now would be the time to lay out your reasoning.
Yeah. I've made allies of former
A
enemies
force?
before.
Watcher? To
I
what
want to help
end?
the Huana.
A noble enough.
Otello, I hadn't realized you had a soft spot for the natives.
What started all this in the first place?
What else? We turned up and proved you didn't need 10 generations of inbreeding to get the job done. And the Bardatos took offense.
It suits you to play the slighted paupers, doesn't it? I'm tired of their play at it.
Enough. Let's negotiate this like any other business proposition. What do you want?
If we're speaking in those terms, it would be enough to be permitted to do business in Neketaka. We need not cross paths.
Altella speaks as if he expects the proposal to be rejected outright. Zali drums her fingers lightly against her scabbard.
I want the Principe out of the trade lanes.
What?
Half of this month's shipments are missing. I'll give you coin and crew for 5 ships to earn back my investment.
She opens her palms and awaits his
6
response.
ships. With 6, I will drive the Principe from these waters like rats from a fire.
Atella straightens his spine and nods with confidence.
Even money says the Principe already be shaking in their timbers at the raw thought of your 6 fish-stinking ships.
He snorts.
You think yourself the first to underestimate us, little one?
Atella chuckles to himself.
6 ships. I believe we just made a deal, Valera.
Then it's settled?
Atella sounds bewildered by his own words.
So it seems. For the time being.
Azali shrugs.
Time will tell if this arrangement is a favorable one. My hosts, you'll excuse me if I return home.
She inclines her head, favoring you with a bemused look on her way out.
Never saw myself breaking bread with a Bardato.
With our new capital, the fleet can be fully restored by month's end.
Atella strokes his chin and nods.
Here, you may count yourself as one of the family. That grants you the right to display it.
Okay. Thank you very much. What does your family do for the Valian Trading Company?
Valera ships escort goods and merchants from island to island across Deadfire. The Principe dogs show us their stern whenever they spot Valera colors on the horizon.
Leave it to a swabby from the Republics to think a pirate showing them their rear be a compliment.
The Orlan chuckles at his own joke. Alright. So, let's go talk to the mother of the other house and see if she has a reward for us.
Shame I weren't at that animancy trial. My mind would have cut Theos's plot to bloody ribbons.
Indeed. It's a wonder we ever stopped Theos without you.
Don't let it discourage, lad. I'd wager silver you can keep up.
How generous of you.
Okay. So we've stopped the feud between the families, but let's see what Azali has to say about the resolution.
I never thought to see a Valera on my payroll.
Azali sighs over her paperwork.
I have not forgotten my debt to you. The Bardato vault is crowded with enough heirlooms that we won't miss this one.
She passes you a handsomely crafted mace, grinning as she hefts it with ease. Well, your family seems well established here.
Ugh. My bank shoulders the costs of the Valiant Trading Company's operations in the Deadfire. It is said that no Valian may wipe themselves unless a Bardato signature approves it first.
If that's true, we gotta stop shaking hands with them.
I'm certain you've touched worse, farmhand.
Zali's mouth twitches, just shy of a smirk. That was a pretty good joke. Alright, so we got 2 new weapons, a sword, and a mace. We're going to hold on to those for later, for sure. Alright, so we've resolved that. Lost using good faith. Alright, we should go check. We're gonna go look for Bataro in the old city. That's our next quest. Which is probably going to be a little dangerous because it's going to be going down into the old ruins beneath Neketaka. But the quest doesn't say that it's higher level than me, so we should be okay.
There'd be a thing of free out here that you shouldn't be aiming at pets.
Hey, it was dark. I only saw the back of your head. I thought you were some huge island squirrel.
This ain't about me, farmer.
Alright, back to the gullet. And we're going to... I guess we go to... Go to none of them because I don't want to go into a building. Alright. Off we go. Quick save!
Why not?
Stand back from there. You want down? Go and see Overseer Hitenga.
Okay. Where's the Overseer? Why don't I see the Overseer anywhere? Ah, there it is. A guard folds his arm, watching the activity on the walkways through slitted eyes. A coral piercing juts from his lower lip. He notices you with a sharp nod. Why was that man sent below?
Bataro? He associated with foreign criminals.
He spits. The gob of saliva is just one more splotch on the weathered and mottled boards.
I cannot be certain about Biha, so I let her go. But I will be watching her. These wicked sorts overrun the gullet and corrupt the Raparu. Our justice must be swift and firm.
Where does the lift go?
To the old city, Ikira. A god's cursed ruin filled with walking corpses and abominations of the deep. And the remains of lawbreakers and troublemakers. The gullet is no place to wander. Watch yourself for rowdies and pirates.
I want access to the lift.
Are you mad or merely lost? That place is a punishment for the lowest sort.
He waves a hand towards the exit.
Go and explore someplace with pleasant views and fresh air. The harbor, or Periki's Overlook.
Yeah, I can look after myself.
It's your neck, Ikira.
He whistles, and the guards standing by the lift look over him and nods.
We will leave the lift down there for half a day. That should be enough time to come back to your senses. After that, you are on your own. The guard will let you pass.
half a day is all I'm gonna get. Ugh. Quick save. Down we go. A rickety metal cage swings over the abyss. Your clothes billow from a foul wind from below, and faint screams and roars echo from the depths. Still, you can make out no details from the distance. You step into the jouncing cage. The doors slam shut, and your descent begins with a rattle of chains. As your eyes adjust to the gloom, you begin to make out crumbling ruins and shadows flickering between them. The cage comes to a rest with a groan. Ugh, there's bodies piled everywhere. Quick save! Flies buzzing.
Ain't not my thing, Sammy.
Waterfalls echo in the distance below. Oh, that's not good.
I'm feeling the strain.
Yeah, buddy, you need to move.
Lavaru beyond seek.
Me too.
Word and rock.
Smart stoning.
Let's go. Tell me. Indeed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I suddenly can't... There we go. Ah, stop moving around. So when you're sickened, apparently... Alright, we need to move over here. The body has been savaged by many claws and fangs. A cloud of essence hangs over it. You recognize it as belonging to Botaro, the man you saw lowered from the gullet earlier. His soul remnant pulses with urgency. Read his soul. You prepare yourself for the now familiar jolt and feel yourself pulled into one of his memories. You are being dragged towards the cage, but you're not looking at it or the darkness below. Soon there will be nothing else for you. Overseer Hitanga is holding the marked coin, Solonet, and glaring at you. You already tried explaining yourself, but it's no use. He knows where you got it. He tucks it into his pocket. Instead, you look at Miha, furious and heartbroken where she now stands beyond the guards. There's something you need to tell her, but she's so far, receding farther by the second. Recall what you need to tell her. You are standing in front of a man. His dark, wizened face reminds you of old leather, but a delicate work of embroidery rests in his lap. He holds out a purse with long, fine fingers. It's heavy, probably more money than you've earned in your entire life. You try not to let this show on your face. You know what to do. The crime lord nods at you. Yes, Dario. Please remind me. You will meet our mutual associate near the Adra Mill. She will give you a package. Pay her and bring this package to the Undercroft. He watches you for understanding before he continues. My people are particular about security. Show them the Sulanet and they will let you pass. You pat your pocket for the marked coin. It's still there. You leave the lair of Daria the Lean and zip through the Narrows, past the swift chewing guards, left at the four-way intersection, and left again to the gullet. Your hands are shaking, and you're remembering the rumor Biha told you about, of a merchant captain at the tavern. The money is heavy in your hands. It's a risk, but you realize you've already decided to take it. You approach the tavern with your heart in your mouth, realizing you can't just walk in there holding Daria's purse. You need to hide it. Fortunately, the rubble around you offers plenty of hiding places. When no one is looking, you clear some stones out of one corner and hide the purse beneath them. There. You'll come back for it once you've made your deal with this Ruatian. You're almost starting to feel better about it, too. As Batara walks into the tavern, the memory fades and you find yourself once again looking at his corpse.
Come along now. I'll guide you through the wheel.
Zodi's lantern clinks softly as she drags it through the clustered essence, harvesting the lost soul. Zodi sways on her feet, a soft, low moan easing from her throat. She rubs a thumb over worry-bitten lips. You feeling okay? Sweat trickles a line from her temple to drop from her chin. Her eyes are hazy, far off.
Watcher.
Slowly she swallows, throat working to bring her voice back, or to keep her meal down.
It's nothing but awakened terror. Soon to pass.
She shudders hard, coming back to herself.
You may want to aim away from our watcher there if it's gonna pass out of your mouth. Sorry. I know you're going through something there.
You could call it something, all right.
She tilts her head, brow pinched, as if she can't tell if he's poking fun at her or not. Want to talk about it?
Now, there's no need for that. Unless...
She juts her chin to the right.
You see those shambling corpses, too?
At her hastily whispered words, the hair on the back of your neck stands on end. You glance around just to be safe, but there's nothing to be seen. Nothing unusual, anyway, even in the direction Zodi's staring, fixed. What do you see?
I see a body of stitched together parts and flayed flesh. It's got 3 heads and 4 stretched limbs. On each of its heads curves 3 white horns from above 3 blind eyes. The beast is big as a mountain, and shambling toward us beneath the sun turned black as slow.
Her eyes roll skyward, and she teeters on her heels as if she's riding the cusp of a seizure. The lantern rattles in her grasp. She exhales a sigh.
I know it ain't really there. Lately, it's been getting worse. Some nights I wake sweaty and shaking. Other times, I'm already awake. I got my eyes wide open, staring down the darkness, watching one lantern after another flickering out. And every soul looks so ripe, darn near rotten with a need for reaping.
What does that mean?
Dark days are coming for Kithkind. When the last light of hell burns out, the final harvest will be upon us. I think we might all die out.
A deep line crinkles between her brows.
But does Gon want me to stop it? Or to help? I sure hope you're right, Watcher. 'Cause if you're wrong...
Nervously, she jiggles her lantern, eyes lost in its flames.
No. I know you're right. Gon's chosen me. So until I figure out what's needed of me, I'll do my darndest to help you on your path.
She lifts her gaze to your face.
We'll figure this out together.
Shoulders squared, she stares off into the distance. Is there anything we can do to alleviate your nightmares?
I'm carrying more souls than I've ever shepherded before. So, I don't know that it'll work this time, but used to be. When the dreams were riding me hard, I'd cleanse my soul before Gon. If we stop by the temple in Neketaka, I can perform the ritual. Please, I need the relief. It won't take more than a minute under Gon's statue, that's all.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Alright, so I found his body, so we're going to go up real quick. At least to finish that quest. So we can explore the rest of those ruins a little later on. Alright. I might be able to tell her where they hid the coin.
My village was not like this. Why does Queen Onikaza not send the foreigners away?
Alright, tell me about the stash of coin.
I tell you, I do not know where it is, and I am sure it would be little to someone like you. After what happened, Batara would sooner have thrown it into the waters than given it to the Mataru or the Rauataians. If it is anywhere, it is surely with his body.
Did you know he was working for criminals?
Of course not. He worked on the docks, I'm sure of it.
Her face flushes with shock. I'm a watcher. I read the memory in his soul. She blinks at you in disbelief, her mouth half open.
For what do you torment me? He was a good man.
As you say.
The Overseer looks for a reason to toss us below too. Such talk will bring him to our doorstep.
I found him. He passed.
Of course. It is no matter. Thank you.
Alright. Well, I'd like to find the stash and give it to her, but I don't know. It says rubble. I wonder if he put it over in the, over here. Excuse me.
Thor may be able to help. What say?
Help how? Poison me? Akira, no thanks.
Oh, Forsaken Cat. Eothas. +3 defenses against body affliction, mind affliction, attacks. Sure, why not? New kitty cat. The woman bends over a pile of dried, bitter-smelling herbs. She's crushing and mashing them on a dirty scrap of parchment, coughing with effort. She steps in front of you to block your way, wiping a ragged sleeve across her rheumy, bloodshot eyes. As she does, her hood slips and you glimpse 3 flated stars on her forehead, the emblem of the Children of the Dawn Stars.
Faintly? Good God, I nearly didn't recognize you. You look more death-warmed over than Dawnstar.
I didn't see you there, Shody. Listen, you and your friends should move along.
She turns her head and stifles a croupy cough.
I'm not feeling so good, and I'd hate to get you sick.
You ill?
Nothing a little ginger root and some bed rest won't cure. Please, let me be.
She takes another step, blocking your view of the room beyond. The herbs on the table give off an odor that scratches at your throat. Blood moss and cave coral. Combination clears mucus from the lungs. Someone must be very sick.
Could use your skill at the Temple of Gon.
Her chuckle turns into a cough.
Could use it here.
She wipes a fleck of blood from her mouth.
There's some sick Raparu in the back. Not much I can do for them now besides keep them comfortable.
She looks at the crimson speckle on her wrist.
And hidden.
Is that wise? Keeping a room full of sick people in the most crowded district in the city?
He glances around as if he can see noxious vapors in the air.
It's better than leaving them to wander the district. I can give them a dignified death, if nothing else.
Why are you hiding sick people?
Because they've got drowner's lung. Spreads like gossip and kills even faster.
What's Drowner's lung?
A gift from the Valians.
She scowls, dabbing the rheum from her eyes.
Fills your lungs with fluid. Gets you coughing all the time, trying to clear them. One of my patients coughed so hard, she broke a rib. Eventually, it gets so bad, you can't hack it out.
COVID.
You just lie there, struggling for breath, until you choke on your own phlegm. I hear it's a long, hard end.
She trails off for a moment, a distant look in her watering eyes.
I heard some Raparu had gotten sick, so I brought them here to care for them. City healers don't come down here.
She frowns and gives her nose a vicious swipe.
Realized what it was when I heard the rattle in their chests, the way they gasped for air.
She wipes the back of her hand on her leg and shudders.
Only cure is an elixir made with pine seed oil. It costs a lot, though not nearly as much as an epidemic. Still, if news of this outbreak gets out, these poor souls will get tossed into the old city. No one with any money in Neketaka spends it on the Raparu.
Any way to get the cure?
You can get nearly anything on Delver's Row. Only trouble is finding it, and paying for it. Unfortunately, the children of the Dawnstars don't have many connections in this part of town.
She turns away, whooping and hacking into her arm.
But I bet you could find someone at the tavern who knows where Delver's Row is.
Yep, I already know how to get there.
Criminal types like to wet their throats after a long day of lying, cheating, and stealing.
I was told you might be able to help with the food shortage.
We tried, but the one away is prize share. Meaning anything we'd give these people has to go through the palace. Best I can tell, our food went to the Queen's table. Assuming it didn't rot in the storehouse first.
If the Queen sanctioned more shares for the Raparu, wouldn't the Dawnstars donate crops again? Her thin lips worry together, but she nods.
That's a question for Samhain. I'd ask her myself, but I got my hands full here. She's High Priestess at the Temple of Gone. Tell her Pitney sent you. She'll listen. Probably. Need something? About the only honest one. The Raparu here are treated like garbage. Even made to eat garbage from that scrap heap opposite the lift.
She shakes her head.
Not that I need to tell you. And Dario and his Principe scum took advantage of the neglect down here to set up the black market on Delver's Row. All the while, the gullet gets more crowded as tribes from the other islands come to Neketaka. Some are driven from their homes by pirates, raiders, even trading company thugs. Others hear stories of the foreign wealth pouring into the city. What they don't realize is most of it flows between the foreigners and the palace.
I see.
Some days, I think maybe this is why Eothas brought us to Deadfire. So we can do some good. Other days, I'm too damn tired.
Alright, farewell. So we need to find a cure.
There is much to see in the light.
Pretty sure that's his stash.
My village was not like this.
I found
Why
the
does
money,
Queen
but Taro
Onikaza
hid.
not send the foreigners away?
Take it.
That much copper would only bring suspicion. Besides, maybe Suduza will accept it in exchange for passage.
Alright. Alright, which means we gotta go back and talk to...
Which one of us am I thinking of now?
You be thinking of the Watcher.
That's 10 in a row. That's some talent you got.
Aye, the talent of noticing who you be glancing at before you ask me who you be thinking of.
In other words, Adair's not too bright. Alright, we gotta go upstairs. And can basically pay this guy off.
What do you require?
I'll make you an offer.
A gold-packed knight is bound by his booking passage on another ship on such short notice would be most expensive.
I can pay you.
All ships leaving for Rauatai are laden with luminous Adra and other rare goods. Mercenaries, even of our skill, do not rate so highly.
Consider this me making a contract with you. He freezes, staring at the coins. After a moment, he divides them into 4 even stacks and nods.
So it does. Consider our business concluded.
Okay.
Leave it to me.
Time to talk to the ship captain.
What is your business with me?
Orin won't be traveling with you anymore. She eyes you suspiciously. The soldier with her shrugs.
That is convenient for you. But never mind. If there's trouble, I'm staying out of it. The berths are paid for. You can send your friends as long as you promise not to make trouble for me. Just do it soon. I don't want any mess you've made to spill onto my decks.
She looks at her crew and makes a twirling motion with her fingers. Alright, now we need to go talk to Biha. So we've rescued her and her children.
My village was not like this. Why does Queen Onikaza not send the foreigners away?
I spoke with the captain about your passage out.
What say, then?
She's agreed to take you all. She is momentarily speechless. Her eyes fill with tears. She drops the reeds as she brushes them away.
Sometimes, Cap, you remind me of serving with Romaro, back on a sorcerer. More than halfway to heartwarming.
He beams, his hands on his hips and chest forward.
May Amira's winds ever blow sweet for you. We will pray always for you in this life and in each to come.
She picks up the 2 infants and hurries the others out the door. Yay! I rescued the family of refugees. Now to find a cure to help the rest of them. Which may be more challenging.
You've caught the eye of someone important.
A cloaked figure sidles up to you, hidden behind a raspy whisper and a long drooping hood.
If you're interested in making good pay and a good friend, head to the narrows at the western end of the gullet. Once you reach the alleys, go right and right again as soon as you can. Then, follow the bend to the left. The bullies guarding the door have a weakness for chewing Svev. You can follow their trail.
Her teeth flashes under her hood.
Tell them Dario sent for you. And remember your manners.
Alright. Lost dues in good faith. The storms of Pokokuhara, harsh medicine. That's the one I want to do. Delver's Row. So I need to go to Delver's Row anyway to get the medicine.
I say Beha did right leaving the gullet. She went and did what she needed.
I'll miss Beer and her ilk. It's too quiet without them. May they go find fortune.
You enter a dim alleyway that reeks of urine and torch smoke. The long passage stretches to your left and right. Shadows move in the guttering torchlight, but they're nothing more than shapes at this distance. Go right. You trudge along the darkened path and reach an intersection. The tunnel branches off to the right. You hear the distant murmur of voices down the darkened path, but see no one. Go right again. The tunnel branches to the left. The floor around the entrance is spattered with something as thick and dark as tar. It looks like Svev. Go left. A handful of guards emerge and block your way, crossing their thick arms over their chests. One of them spits a vicious black gob at your feet. He rolls a dark plug between his teeth. Better head back, friend. It's invitation only past here. Dario sent a messenger for me. The guard nods and lets you pass, chomping loudly on mouthfuls of Svev. That's some nasty sound effects. At the end of the passage is a stately door crafted of polished mahogany. Through the small slit in the door, you catch flashes of fire-cast shadows and bright textiles. The scent of sandalwood and cinnamon oil comes to you on a warm draft. Whatever's beyond this door is likely far more elegant than anything you've ever seen near the gullet. Enter the hideout. Of course, it's the Thieves' Guild. It's always going to be more decadent than the slums surrounding. It's the way these things work. Alright, quick save. Don't keep the boss waiting. Dario the Lean. A thin, long-limbed man holds a handkerchief in one hand and a threaded needle in the other. As you approach, he sets his handiwork aside, and you see an elaborate gold-work pattern embroidered around the edge, the same pattern that adorns his brilliant tunic. You also notice a strange bulk beneath the thin fabric of his trouser's leg that runs from hip to ankle.
The hero of the Reparu visits me at last. You must forgive the cryptic introduction, but I prefer to remain among the comforts of home.
He leans forward with a squeak of leather and rattle of metal. You see something protruding above his boots, the bottom of a leg brace.
Well, ain't you sitting fat and happy in your home while just outside people are starving? He may look like a prince, but he smells like a pirate.
Better to be a prince here than a slave out there.
He dips his head in a mock bow. Then he turns back to you.
Though these are modest luxuries compared to those at the estate of your friends in Queensburg.
His mouth twitches in a smile.
But had I only known there was a watcher in my midst, I would have extended the invitation sooner.
I'm gonna wait.
I have a job. One that could use a watcher's skills. There is an artifact called the Cornet of Waves. which is currently in the possession of a Juana named Takano. I would like you to liberate it for me.
He flutters his slender hands in a way that resembles a bird taking flight. Okay, yeah, why do you need a watcher?
Watchers see what many cannot. Takano is a man of many vanities, as your special gifts will no doubt reveal. His villa is on the eastern edge of Serpent's Crown, just downwind of the palace.
He pauses, tenting his fingers.
The opportunist I first hired was too bold and found herself ejected from the district. With your unique talents, I am hoping you can avoid such complications and persuade Takano. After all, it would be best to avoid drawing the ire of our Mataru hosts. When you have the cornet, bring it to me. I will pay you well for it, and you will find my favor useful in this part of the city.
I need to ask about another matter.
What do you require?
I need to speak with Mad Marina.
Patience? First, you must bring me the Cornet of Waves.
What happened to your legs?
A storm, a rash decision, and an accident at sea. One that took my sailing days, but not my skill with a needle.
He smiles cryptically.
Life in the Deadfire is unpredictable. Sometimes it takes you in its jaws only to spit you out onto some new shore.
He kind of looks like the image here. What is it? Giancarlo Esposito? I believe is his name. All right.
Most agree it is an old Juana artifact. A musical instrument of sorts.
One hand plays with the elaborate decorations at his sleeve.
Ages ago, it was part of a pair. But its companion, the Cornet of Depths, was lost when the old city sank. Both are said to carry the voice of Andra herself. I do not believe in such superstition, of course.
He frowns. Whew. So what do you want with it?
I have told you all you need to know of the cornet. Now, I suggest you focus your sharp mind on retrieving it.
All right, well, it doesn't look like I have a choice. I need to find the, explore the Narrows. Go right, go right, go forward, go right. Okay. Trace your steps to the exit. Explore the Narrows. Go right. Go left. Go left. Okay. Turn around. We're gonna go left. Go right. Turn around. Go left. Go forward. Go right. Inspect the merchant stall. This is what I was looking for. Okay. Go through the curtain behind the merchant stall. Several hooded figures, but not so fast you get a pencil if you want to do his Delver's role. Good folk, open market are vital to a healthy economy. Would you turn away a paying customer? They look at each other and shrug. Well, I pay just this once. Enter Delver's Row. This is what I was looking for. Okay. I want to get the cure. That's what I'm looking for. The cure for the sick people. Okay. this is probably as good a place as any to go ahead and wrap this up for the day, or at least for the morning. I need to go have breakfast, go for a run, get some work done. Probably be back later today with some more Lord of the Rings Online. We'll see. If not, stick around, follow along, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for more updates, and we will see you in the next episode.